Julie Tillman. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a couple of cards with the January box of the month from Not Too Shabby. And I am starting out making a little watercolor background here. I recently got these watercolors from Handmade by Rachel Beth on Etsy. And she's a local artist, and I've gotten her watercolors before and I just absolutely love them. So I am using a Midnight's Kiss, just plopping on some water and just adding in the blues and greens. I kind of took my color inspiration from the paper pads in the box of the month. So lots of this is just like lots of repetition and building up these layers of color. I tried to do a mix of more vibrant color and then softening it out, knowing that when it dries, it's going to dry back the color a little bit. So there's a lot of drying in between and adding more layers. So here I am just taking an acetate bag and using it to smoosh on a little bit of color to give a different texture. And I like to move my card around on the table as I do that so that I don't get everything in the same direction. So blotting off as necessary and just having fun with these watercolors. I really love these colors of blue and green. Oh, it's just so crisp, I guess. I don't know. Serene. I really love like natural colors, and these cool colors here with the blues and greens. Just this month, this box has really like got my little crafty heart all excited. So more repetition. Now I'm adding in some splatters, and I do love my splatters. This is a large round brush. I think it's a number 10, and I really like how much water it soaks up. So it gets really liquidy. So now I'm just bringing in some white gesso. You could use white paint, whatever. I'm just going to knock back that color a little bit and add in some texture with that scraper. I'm just using a scraper. You could use a credit card or any kind of stiff object, palette knife. I just like to get the varying texture, and like the thicker it is, the more opaque it's going to be, but you'll get a little bit of translucency if you have it thinner. So now I've dried it out, and I'm going to be using an archival black ink to stamp. My thought process on this was to make 2 ATC cards. So I am, as I add that birthday's sentiment, it's from the Birthday Inside Greetings stamp set from the box. And I'm just adding it as texture here. But as I'm stamping, I'm thinking about how I'm going to split that down the middle. So I wanted some text all around both sides. So that's how I stamped. Now I'm going in for more splatters because you can never have too many, right? Anyways, I used an archival ink because I knew I might put more wet medium on there. So, and I did. So here I am going in with some watered down gesso just to add more splatters and get a little bit of that white back in. And I'm gonna add some little circles with some black paint. And I got way too much on that block, but I just put it on an acrylic block, and then I found a couple of different sized caps in my stash and just went to town having fun, adding little marks with the black paint. And now I'm gonna go in and add some more splatters. And I just love how I love ATCs, and at this point I'm thinking, okay, now I'm gonna make these into cards because I love how it turned out, and so I often turn my ATCs into cards. I don't actually swap them, so I guess they're not technically ATCs because I'm not swapping them. But I do like to use them and I like to create them. So now I pulled out some, after I did some ink blending around the edges with some black soot distress ink. Now I'm adding in some old remnant rubs from Tim Holtz. I found them in the great craft room partial reorganization. I had to like switch gears. I got halfway through and needed to get some projects done, so I'm not sure when I'll get back to that, but I did rediscover a lot of gems, and these remnant rubs were one of them, and I just thought they would add just a little bit more texture and interest to these cards. So I also found, I guess it's the same. It's just a different remnant rub that has the Live Simply for the sentiment, and I'm just adding a little bit of the watercolor ink to make it blend in with the project. And now I've decided to add in a little bit of book paper. I think this is actually collage paper as well. It's on that big roll that they used to have. So another thing I found in my journey through my craft room. I'm just using some collage medium to add that sentiment on, and I'm adding it with a little bit of the Fresh Start Ephemera. I just love this girl who's planning with her little cup of coffee or tea or whatever. I just thought it made a really good focal image, so I added that one, and now I'm adding a little bit more of that collage paper to this with the collage medium. And I love how it is translucent so that you can see that background. And now I'm just going to pick another remnant rub and add that to this little sentiments rectangle that I just free cut and added some black ink around the edges. Now I'm going in with some watercolors just to paint a little bit extra deep color on that butterfly. Now, if you do this, just remember that watercolors are, water soluble. So if you add any other water to this project, that will fade that color out. It will lift the color. So now I am just going to put this card together. I cut down a panel of that beautiful hilly paper from the Fresh Start paper collection, and I just added a little black soot ink to the edges and added the ATC to the center. And I love how that black just adds a little bit of contrast to keep your eye going in towards the center of the page, which will be a nice ephemera piece from the Fresh Start collection with that Discover Beauty sentiment. And that finishes that card. I'm going to go in for the second. I'm going to use the leftover piece and just cut that down to fit on a panel. I think it's a 4 by 5 1/4 inch panel, and I'm going to add more ink blending with the black soot and then add on my ephemera piece and sentiment. Now I'm just going to add a little remnant rub. I thought that corner looked a little empty, so I added that in the corner, and I'm going to just use some enamel dots to finish these two cards off. And there are the finished cards. I am so glad you stopped by today. I really hope you were inspired by this little mixed media play session. If you liked what you saw today, be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. I always love to meet new crafty people, so I will catch you on the next one.